Good morning, youth. I hope you guys are doing well. This is your midweek encouragement video, and we're going to just jump right into it. We're in Proverbs chapter 13, and we're actually going to close out Proverbs chapter 13 this week. So, Proverbs chapter 13, starting in verse 13, it says, "Whoever despises the word brings destruction on himself, but he who reveres the commandment will be rewarded. The teaching of the wise is a fountain of life, that one may turn away from the snares of death. Good sense wins favor, but the way of the treacherous is their ruin. In everything the prudent acts with knowledge, but a fool flaunts his folly. A wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a faithful envoy brings healing. Poverty and disgrace come to him who ignores instruction, but whoever heeds reproof is honored. A desire fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but to turn away from evil is an abomination to fools. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Disaster pursues sinners, but the righteous are rewarded with good. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the sinner's wealth is laid up for the righteous. The fallow ground of the poor would yield much food, but it is swept away through injustice. Whoever spares the rod hates the son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him. The righteous has enough to satisfy his appetite, but the belly of the wicked suffers want." This week in Proverbs is another one of those wisdom grab bags. We see the teacher here just kind of pulling little bits of wisdom from all sorts of different aspects of life and bringing them in and just kind of throwing them right into the mix here at the end of chapter 13. And so I'm going to pick just a couple of things, just two things that stood out to me when I was reading this section, and maybe something different stood out to y'all. Let us know that. Reach out and say, hey, like, verse 7 or verse 17 was it for me. But the two things that I want to just highlight here as maybe challenges to y'all this week. The first is in verse 20. And verse 20 tells us that those who walk with the wise also benefit from walking with them. It says, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise. They tend towards wisdom, and it's this idea that who you surround yourself with is important. As y'all begin your year at school, maybe you've made a couple of new friends. Maybe you have some old friends. You are going to be more like the people you hang out with. That's just true. And often, and there's this idea, well, I will be a good, I'll be a good what? You can be, and that's what the book of Proverbs is saying, is that when someone walks with the wise, that means that they are able to go along with what the wise person is doing. They become more wise. The problem is sometimes we, as Christians, go along with the foolishness that other people do. And so in that case, they're not going to get Osmosis Jones wisdom from you. It is, are they willing to, as you walk in wisdom themselves, walk alongside you? So just keep that in mind. You can be a good influence, but you have to just, kind of be grounded in who you are and what you value to be that good influence to your friends. You are who you hang with. And the second here is that Proverbs has a lot to say about poverty and being poor. And I want to note verse 23 here, because it seems that the teacher here is saying, they've said a lot about how, you can misuse your resources and squander what God's given you, and that will result in poverty. But verse 23, it paints this new picture, this different picture in the book of Proverbs, and that says that sometimes the poverty a person experiences is part of injustice. It says, the fallow ground of the poor would yield much food, but it is swept away through injustice. The idea here is that that either the seed or the food that has begun to grow from that seed in the poor man's field, it is swept away by some other force that they could not pay to control and could not keep out. And it's this idea that as such, the wise and the righteous have a duty to pursue justice in the world, such that when others pursue wisdom themselves, the injustices of the world don't knock that down. Real wisdom and real justice pursues a system that rewards those who seek to live out that godly wisdom. And so there's a number of things in this section that maybe stood out to you, but that's just two. Be mindful of who your friends are and look for ways to deal justly with the people around you this week. And I would leave you guys with that. I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your week, and we will be seeing you back in youth here just shortly. And so we love y'all, and we will see you soon. Bye, guys.